Well, hi folks, getting towards the end of April now, so just thought I'd give you a look, show you what I've been up to, which isn't a great deal, but we're getting stuff planted. Planted my peas out. I grew those in the gutters as usual. I'm on my camera phone here, so it's probably going to be a bit shaky, so we'll just see how it goes anyway. So like I said, I planted those out the other day. I didn't let them get too big inside, because if you let them grow a bit too big in the guttering, then they can get a bit root bound. It's better to put them in early and then let the roots get into the fresh stuff pretty quickly. It's very bright today, so I don't know how this will look. Planted my banana shallots out, as you can see. Planted them out quite small this year and a bit earlier, because over the Easter they were just getting absolutely roasted in the greenhouse, so I thought I'd better put them out. Got my clumps of spring onions again, as usual. Grow them in clumps of about 6 or so. I always find it gets them off to a really good head start when you plant them in little modules, and then just plant them out when they're about that size. And then the onions, heat treated onions from sets, going well. Garlic's looking really healthy this year, and no misfires, so I'm happy with that. I've been trying to do a bit of weeding, and I'll show you what I've been using, because if I can't reach the middle, I bought one of these pound shop litter pickers. Let's see if it'll work. That might be a bit big. No, there you go. Good old pound shop, roots and all. So anything I can't reach and I don't want to stand on the soil, there you go. Pulls it up like a good one. Good old pound world. Right, so that's that anyway. If you're wondering what all the wood is, well, around my polytunnel I had a load of decking, but it had all gone rotten, and I kept walking through it and nearly breaking my ankle, so I've ripped it all up and put some fabric matting down, and I'm just going to have a massive bonfire with this stuff. So, as you can hear the cars racing past, planting my potatoes out as usual in the pots, 30 litre pots, some Sarpo Mira, Blue Danube and Nicola. So in the pots, and then just earth them up so the roots can grow down into the soil below. Not done as many as last year, because I'm trying to be cheap this year. I've used all, if you can see all the white stuff on the top, that's just perlite from the onion mix from last year, so I've used that, so it's not cost me a penny for the compost this year, and it's not cost me a penny for the seed potatoes, because I kept the ones from last year and used those as seed potatoes. So it's really just a handful of fertiliser is the cost this year, which is good. So we'll just have a look at Polytunnel. I'm just starting to get that together now. So I've not got a great deal of giant stuff growing at all this year, well, nothing whatsoever, apart from I'm trying some parsnips for the first time. I've never done it before. They're not brilliant, but I've just planted those out. They were grown in tubes like the carrots are. I've only grown 2, just to see how we get on. I did grow a few carrots, but they're looking really pathetic. They're just not grown well at all this year, so I'm not even going to bother planting that one. But what I've done, I've put my onions to seed. I've got one going to seed in the greenhouse, but I've put the 3 in there, and in a couple of weeks, couple of months, they should start sending seed heads up, and then they can pollinate the flowers. The bees will do all that, and then we should have a good crop of onion seed from the £10 onions. So these are the exhibition carrots, which I'm just going to eat probably. All up, just got one misfire there, so I'll have to plant another seed, but considering I only used 2 seeds in each station, only having one miss is quite a good percentage really. So they're up and running. They just look after themselves, just water them twice a week, and that's it really. Just got this bed dug over and watered and fertilised. It's where the French beans will be going. I sowed those about a week ago. They're just poking their heads up, so once they come up and a couple of leaves on, we'll get those planted out. This little bit of courgette bed, I've just sown those, but that'll be another 3 or 4 weeks before they're planted really. And the first early potatoes in the small pots, starting to put on quite a bit of growth now, which is good. So it'll probably be about, I would say, 6 weeks before I can probably take the first ones of those. I did plant them a little bit later than I usually do, but it's always nice to get some a lot earlier than you would do outside. The old rhubarb started to go a bit bonkers now. It's just had a big downpour of rain. I think that's sent it on a bit. So it's looking good this year. That one went to seed again. Sometimes it doesn't go to seed, sometimes it does. But I just cut the seed off and it still keeps producing stalks. A few of my little wildflowers are coming up. I don't know where these came from, I didn't plant them. So they're bluebells from somewhere, they've probably just blown in. And then the old gooseberry bushes, all been pollinated now. There's a wasp pollinated it now. So they should be good to go. A bit of water, get the old bulb, get the old gooseberries swelling a little bit. So the huge flower bed, first bit of rain we've had over the weekend, so it should start to germinate the seeds because absolutely nothing's been happening with it yet. So it'll probably bring all the weeds on and all the seeds, so we'll see how we get on anyway. But we should start seeing a bit of germination shortly. I'm growing a few sweet peas up this bit. This is where I used to grow the silly giant runner beans. I'm not doing that anymore, I just can't be bothered with it. So I'll put a few sweet peas in, should get a nice crop of flowers later on. A few more onions, a few more spring onions. This is where I'm planting my kale out, which I've only just sowed. I'm a bit late with that. I made another hideous looking box there because I planted my red cabbage out that I grew. I always like a red cabbage because they do tend to hold well into winter instead of bolting, so they're good to get late on in the season. Planted them quite close, but I've not got a great deal of room. It just means they grow a little bit smaller really. So that's going to be the cabbage bit, and in this last little bit I'll be putting the leeks probably. They'll be ready in about 3 or 4 weeks, and a bit more rhubarb. Well, hi folks, I forgot to mention that I am growing some other giant stuff this year. Although it won't be as giant as last year's onions, but I'm growing this year some giant red onions. I don't know whether you'll be able to make out the slight red tinge to the plant, but I grew these a bit later, set these off about January, and they won't grow anywhere near as big as the giant normal coloured ones. But anything to about £3 I'll be over the moon. Because what I really want to do is try and grow one of these and then get hold of another bulb, another big normal coloured bulb, and cross-pollinate them next year. So then we can hopefully breed a bit more vigour into these giant red ones, because they've lost the vigour now, because they're only available from one source, and they've just, like I said, they seem to be getting smaller and smaller every year. I grew some about £4.5 about 10 years ago, and I've not seen anywhere near as big as that recently, so obviously the strain has diminished somewhat. So that's the idea anyway. So stupidly I should have grown another giant normal coloured one myself, then I could have cross-pollinated it with these, but I'll be able to get hold of a bulb from somebody. So yeah, they're only in 40 litre pots, and this is one of those air pots. That's about 50 litres. So, and the white polythene there is just to keep the moisture in. So yeah, we'll see how they get on. Like I said, they won't be giants, but they'd be interesting to grow a big red one, because they do look quite funky. You know, when you get them like £3 or £4 and bright purple in colour. So anyway, that's one of my other things that's going on this year, trying to grow a big, if not giant, red onion. So like I said, I am actually growing a few different giant things. Well, hi folks, I'll just show you what I've got going on in the greenhouse as of now. Like I said, I've put another onion to seed in here. I put that to seed quite early, and as you can see, that's already sent a seed head up, which is what the others will be doing. So I've got one in here that's earlier than the rest. Again, not a lot, I'm just growing a couple of tumbling tomatoes. And a gardener's delight in a Shirley. So that'll do for me plenty, because I always end up with thousands of tomatoes, way too many, so I'm just growing a few this year. Likewise the peppers, I ended up with hundreds last year. These are those oxhorn peppers. Just a couple of those. And a couple of normal sweet peppers. And what I did sow quite late with these, I don't know how you pronounce it, Bikino Red, chili pearls they're called. Now I tried some of these, I actually had them on a pizza, and they're unbelievably sweet. They're like eating a cherry, you know, or a raspberry or something, but then they've got this tiny bit of backheat to them. So I thought, oh, I'll give those a go, and judging by the way they've grown under the lights, they're quite a stocky plant, but they're absolutely gorgeous, and they look quite interesting, the shape of them anyway. So, and they are really lovely to eat. So I'm giving those a go. And then finally, just got a few leeks growing. They'll be ready in about, I would say about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month. Ready to be transplanted into the holes. So that's about it, folks, just a bit of a quick roundup. And I'll see you later.